my friend. Welcome back to another episode of Answers About Alzheimer's, where we talk extensively about anything related to Alzheimer's disease and all the other dementias. Frontotemporal, Lewy body, vascular, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, CTE, Parkinson's disease. If it's a dementia-related problem, I've got your answers. I'm Debra, certified master dementia strategist and your new best friend. I'm so happy you're here. Today, I am going to talk about the 7 stages of Alzheimer's disease. And I want to be very, very particular here. I want to make sure that you understand we're talking about Alzheimer's disease. I just recently had someone post something to me saying, my husband has vascular dementia, and I believe he's in stage 5. So vascular dementia does not have stages. So I want to be very clear that we're talking about Alzheimer's disease here and not other dementias when we're talking about the global deterioration scale and the 7-stage model. Okay, so we are talking about Alzheimer's disease. So please put clear in the chat for me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you subscribe so that you know when we post new information. It's free to subscribe. It's easy. You just hit that big red button and then we will pop up in your feed, and that way you'll know when we post new content. So today, I want to let you know that I solve behavioral problems. That is my specialty. I solve conflict and arguing between you and your person with dementia. And I help both family and professional caregivers all over the world. And this is a global movement. These are brand new strategies, scripts, and phrases that have never been taught before. So I hope to see you in class so that you too can achieve the results that you and your family both deserve. So we're going to talk about the stages of Alzheimer's disease using the GDS, or the Global Deterioration Scale model. Stages 1 through 3 are considered the pre-dementia stages, and stages 4 through 7 are considered the dementia stages. And just so that we're very, very clear here, I know a lot of people get really hung up on what stage their person is in dementia. And I want to tell you that while that information may be helpful, it's not going to solve your dementia problems. Okay? So I don't want you to get too hung up on what stage your person is in. I want you to concentrate more on being able to have a happy, peaceful, memorable time with your person with dementia and not so much worry about these stages. The other thing that's super important to remember is that your person with dementia can and probably will show symptoms from 2 or 3 different stages at any given time. They can fluctuate in between the stages because the brain works in very mysterious ways, which we will discover on our journey together. So let's start with stage 1. Stage 1 has 0 symptoms. So what I mean by that is it's not detectable. You will not have any symptoms of the disease. So typically with Alzheimer's disease, cell death in the brain begins 20 to 30 years before a person starts experiencing any symptoms. So stage 1, there's no symptoms. It's not detectable. You can't diagnose at this stage, and you won't even have any symptoms, but cell death is occurring. So the next stage is stage 2. Stage 2, you can't even diagnose mild cognitive impairment yet at stage 2. So this is when a person is maybe starting to see some of the symptoms. And what we want to make sure, though, is that if we're starting to notice symptoms of memory issues and cognition issues, it's important to go and start seeing a physician, because there are many conditions that are actually reversible that can cause dementia symptoms. Some of those include an infection like a urinary tract infection, malnutrition, sleep deprivation, side effects from medications, alcohol, depression, brain tumor, vitamin B12 deficiencies. So there are many, many different conditions that can cause dementia symptoms. And that's why it's kind of important to get into the doctor, at least to rule those things out, because those are treatable and curable. And we certainly don't want to miss out on that, right? Right. Put right in the chat for me. Okay. So the next thing in stage 2 is that this person might start having a little bit of issues with word finding. Maybe they're missing an appointment, but this would also be stage 2 would probably really be, we're kind of still figuring that this is just age-related memory cognition issues. And it's pretty much the same thing that we're seeing in our own peer group, just age-associated memory impairment, or AAMI. So that is stage 2. Stage 3 is very early dementia, and this is not obvious memory problems at this stage. It's questionable on whether or not you could diagnose mild cognitive impairment at stage 3. But this is where the person is going to maybe start experiencing some time lapses. They might accuse you of not coming around in weeks and you were just there the other day. So they can have lapses in time. They may not remember recent conversations, or maybe what they had for lunch, or for what they did yesterday. They might have trouble remembering the name of an object, like hand me that thingy. They might be losing items, and they could start having trouble planning a holiday or an event. So they're having trouble with sequencing and planning things. This person also may be in denial, and they may also be suffering from depression, because this is scary, because they're starting to recognize that something is going wrong with their cognition. Stage 4, this is called moderate cognitive decline. And moderate cognitive decline, this is the beginning of the dementia stages. Remember, I said stages 4 through 7 are the actual dementia stages. So things are starting to get tougher and more complicated. But don't worry, I've got you. I've got you. So, I also want to let you know that I also have this fantastic book for you. This is a #1 bestseller caregiving book. It's got all kinds of fantastic things in here. It's called Forget Me Not. Has activities, behaviors, communication, hallucinations, sundowning, end of life. It's all in here. You can get this at Barnes & Noble, anywhere books are sold, Amazon, anywhere you want. This person may be getting lost in unfamiliar places, not familiar places, but unfamiliar places. Familiar places comes a little bit later. They can't balance their checkbook. They may be late on some of their payments. They might have double paid some of their bills, like overpaid their bills. It's harder for them to problem solve, and they might even have problems with like large menus. What else? They still know their family and their friends. They know their names, and they're going to start withdrawing socially at this stage, and they may be having mood swings and depression. And that's normal, and it's very common, because just think about it. This person is terrified. They know that things aren't working correctly, and they're scared. So that can come out as mood swings, personality changes, and depression. So we got to kind of keep that in mind as well. The next stage is stage 5, and stage 5 is moderately severe decline. Things are really starting to get rougher to navigate now. And these stages, by the way, they vary in how long they can last from person to person. So there's no way to know how long each one of these stages is going to last. And that's a question that I get quite a bit. In stage 5, this is where they're going to start having a decline in their own self-care and their activities of daily living, and day-to-day functions are going to get more and more difficult. Safety is a big concern in stage 5. The other thing is the executive functioning is compromised. And the executive functioning, one of the things that it's responsible for is how we understand consequences for actions. So you could see how that could influence safety, right? If we don't understand consequences for our actions, it could also make us say inappropriate or rude things to people that we love and not realize that we're actually hurting someone else's feelings. This person in stage 5 could get very easily scammed. They can't repeat their address and their phone number, another safety issue. And they can't count backwards from 20 in twos. This person could also have lapses in time. They're still going to know their spouse and their children, but they may not know the grandchildren at this point. So stay away from quizzing them and asking them, who's this in this picture? Who's in this in that picture? They also may start having outbursts of anger and aggression due to the frustration and the loss of their abilities. They are getting very overwhelmed and scared because of the loss of functions and the loss of their abilities. This person could start having personality changes. So this is when people are like, this isn't my mom. This isn't like my dad. Like, he would never say things like that. My mom was always so sweet, and now she's so vulgar or angry. This person is still able to bathe and toilet themselves in stage 5, but they may not be dressing properly. So they might be dressing inappropriately for the weather conditions. They might put things on backwards or inside out or crooked or things like that. And this person is having problems with the day, the date, the time. And so you're going to have to start stepping in, and you're going to have to help them probably with their medication management, because they can't even follow a Medi set. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the pills are in there. They're screwing that up left and right. So it's time to step in and take over those medications. And this person in stage 5 may be having repetitive behaviors, like asking you the same question over and over. They might start getting obsessive compulsive disorders as well. And I cover all of that in my course, like all of it. So let's just pause for a minute. And I do want to kind of tell you a little bit about what I can help you with, because now you're really in the thick of things, and you're going to need some help learning how to manage these behaviors and how you're going to make some sense of all of this, because dementia does not make any sense at all. And I can get you to a place where you are in control of dementia and not dementia in control of you and your person with dementia or your senior living community. And if you would like to learn more on how I can teach you how to calm your person with dementia down and get them to do the things you need them to do, like take their meds or help with exit seeking and all of that, just book a call at our website, answersaboutalz.org, and you'll talk to a dementia coach. And that website will be linked down below for you. So now I want to talk to you about stage 6. There's only 7, so we're getting closer to the end here, but stage 6 is considered severe decline. Severe decline in stage 6. And this is very, very difficult for the caregiver. This person is not going to recognize their spouse and their children any longer, and that can be heartbreaking. I do have another video on just that. It's really amazing. The person with dementia may think that their spouse is their brother, their sister, or their mom, and it's important to go ahead and play along with that. But this person with dementia is going to really have a difficult time with titles and who's who and what's what. So you don't want to cause more distress on your person with dementia by correcting them in that area. This person is not going to be able to dress properly. They might be wearing the shoes on the wrong feet. They might have their underwear on the outside of their clothes. They might have a Depends around their neck as a scarf. I just saw a picture of someone with that recently on Facebook. So they're going to have problems with toileting, and they're probably going to be incontinent at this stage, and they're going to need 2-hour toilet reminders to help reduce accidents and skin breakdown. And this person is probably not going to be able to use toilet paper effectively and efficiently, and it's harder for them to maneuver their clothing. So when your person starts losing bladder and bowel control, it's important to get chucks. Those are those blue pads. You may have seen them in the hospitals and nursing homes, but use chucks and put them in the bed and on the chairs where they're sitting frequently. It'll help you with unnecessary cleanups. It'll make things a lot easier. And now is when we're going to have to, stage 6 is when we're probably going to have to start moving to finger foods or softer foods to maintain dignity and to help them with chewing and swallowing. At this stage, at stage 6, this person cannot count backwards from 10 in ones. Yeah. Communication now is significantly impaired. This is why you need to take the class, because as your person with dementia declines and they can't communicate their wishes and desires and their needs anymore, they get more and more frustrated, more and more upset. You're going to get more and more upset because they can't communicate to you and you can't communicate to them. There is absolutely nothing happening here. So instead of, we need this. And in order to get that, you need to learn how to communicate with a person who has brain damage. And that is my superpower. I can get you to a place you just won't even believe it. But communication is key to happiness for everyone. And I can teach you how to communicate with a person who is declining. And eventually they're going to lose all their communication skills. So you're going to need to know what's going on. So at this stage, they can wander, which is very dangerous. Their sleeping patterns are interrupted. They may have severe changes in personality. They could have hallucinations at this point, and in the course, we cover all of those things. Hallucinations are particularly hard for caregivers. And what do you say? What do you say to a person who's hallucinating? How do you help them? And how do you get rid of them? How do you get rid of the hallucinations? Well, I got those tricks right up my sleeve. I'm happy to share them with you. So this person might be getting violent and having outbursts, and they're fearful. They're very afraid. They're very afraid. They may start making messes and rummaging through things and reorganizing things and stashing things and hoarding things. They could be pacing. A good thing to do in this situation would be to give them something to hold, right? Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Just try it. Just try giving them something to hold, something to look after for you. They will start losing weight, and it will eventually get harder and harder for them to swallow. So this is one of the reasons why we're moving to more softer foods, because it's really important to help maintain their dignity, and they need comforting. And comforting is something that works in so many situations with a person with dementia, but we need to do it in the right way. Otherwise, it can kind of throw them the other way. They might get even angrier at you. So this is another thing that we will consistently go over throughout the 4-day course. Next is stage 7. Stage 7 is the last of the stages. The global deterioration scale, this is very serious, stage 7. This is when, you're drowning. You're drowning now. You're probably exhausted. They're exhausted. You're exhausted. Everybody's exhausted. I'm really sorry, but you're in deep shit now. You're in stage 7, and this person cannot communicate their wishes and their desires. Stage 7 is when your person will now qualify for hospice care, and they can't walk. They can't sit up or hold their head up independently. They can't feed themselves. They can't bathe themselves or toilet themselves. They must be repositioned every 2 hours to avoid pressure sores or bed sores or whatever you want to call them. They have a million different names. This person has very, very limited vocabulary, if any at all. They may not have any vocabulary at all. And if they're saying things like, hey, hey, help, help, nurse, nurse, if they're calling out like that, your person is having a really big problem and your person with dementia is in distress. You cannot ignore them. You must figure out what their problem is and you must help them. And this is hard because at stage 7, they're not making any sense. You don't know what in the hell is going on. So this is why you need to take this course so that you can actually help your person with dementia and end the suffering for them. It's imperative. It's absolutely imperative. So you cannot ignore this person who is crying out, help, help, nurse, nurse, hey, hey, hey. They are having a really, really big problem, and we have to get to the bottom of it. If they are moaning, groaning, if they're guarding any body part, if they're rocking, if they're grimacing, this person is in pain, more than likely, or they're trying to communicate something. And I have a free gift for you. It's called the Pain AD Scale. This is a document very easy to determine if your loved one with advanced dementia is in pain. You can get this on my website under the free resources tab. Please don't wait until you need this and then you're trying to figure out where the hell it is. Print it out and put it somewhere where you can locate it. The Pain AD Scale. Okay. This person typically cannot smile at this stage. And they're getting ready to pass away. And eventually what happens is the brain stops sending signals to the heart and lungs, and that results in their death. So I know how incredibly hard this journey is. I've been through it myself personally. I've been through it through my home care business with thousands of clients and patients, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of caregivers and professionals just like you. I know the suffering that's involved, and I'm here to tell you, you can get through this, and you can change challenges and turn them into victories. You can, and I'll show you how, because I will be behind you every step of the way, and I will take you to a place that you never dreamed possible. Even if you're a professional and you've been in this industry for over 30 years, like my friend Mona. She's been in memory care for over 30 years, and she took the course and she was completely amazed. She's retraining all of her communities as we speak. So, you can get to that place, and I'll make sure that you do, because I'm going to guarantee the course. I'll guarantee that you get results. So if you're interested, if you want to learn more, just book a call at answersaboutalz.org and talk to my dementia coaches. They're ready to take your calls. And I'm so happy that you've joined me today, because we have to start sticking together. And it's time. It's way overdue for an overhaul of the dementia care system and the dementia trainings that are currently in existence. They needed a complete overhaul, and you finally found it. It's here, and I can't wait to share it with you, because it's going to blow your mind, and you're going to absolutely love it. So I will see you next time, my friend. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you soon.